Hey guys, welcome back to video 2 in the series of how to design and execute an effective lead generation strategy for your digital marketing agency. So like I said, this is video 2. If you haven't watched video 1, I would encourage you to pause this one, click the link, go back, watch video 1, because this is really building on itself. You need the foundation before you can move on to this step. Ultimately, what we're trying to create for you here is a system that is going to attract in your ideal prospects, systematically heat them up to an 8, 9, or 10, where they're likely to want to buy your service, get them on a discovery call where they're pre-framed to view you as an expert, willing and able to pay you what you're worth, and ultimately become a high-paying client for your service. Now, we're going to explain each of those in these 3 videos. We've broken it down into chunks, but it's really important that you start at the beginning so that you have the foundation so that you can get the results that I want for you. Okay, so just to review what we covered in the first video, we talked about your ideal prospect, how to identify them, the 3 questions you need to ask in terms of understanding if it is a good fit for you to work with them. Do you want to work with them? Can you add value? And are they willing and able to pay you what you're worth? Understanding where they hang out or congregate online so that we have the ability to put a message in front of them easily and we're not searching and spending all of our time trying to identify these prospects. Once that's happened, we need to figure out how to grab their attention, right? There's a lot of noise in the marketplace today, and there are strategies that we could use in order to grab somebody's attention and really penetrate the noise in the marketplace so that they want to listen to you and you have the ability to earn their trust and ultimately put them through your lead generation system. So if you haven't watched it, again, go back and watch it. And if you have, then you know that we talked about this as a Lego process. And so what I want to do now is jump into bag 2 and bag 3 in our Lego analogy of the next challenges we're going to face in your lead generation system. Okay, so bag 2 is really understanding how to get your prospects to know, like, and trust you. Right? And once they know, like, and trust you, we're going to figure out bag number 4, which is how to get them to view you as a provider of choice. And there's a number of reasons that we want this to happen, because something shifts in people's minds when they start to know, like, and trust you and view you as a provider of choice. You go from anonymous to somebody that they're attracted to and they want to work with. And that shift that happens is really important to the efficacy of your lead generation process. So we need to start to think about how to manifest this in your marketing so that we're able to move your prospects through this process and ultimately position you the right way in the market. Okay, so back to the concept that Stephen Covey introduced in the first video, which is start with the end in mind. So we know that in bag 3 and 4, we are trying to get your ideal prospects to know, like, and trust you and view you as a provider of choice. Everything we're doing here starts from that perspective. So we want to make sure that all of the actions that we're taking in your business are designed to get them to know, like, and trust you, view you as a provider of choice, and ultimately get them familiar with your business and have that mindset of attraction and wanting to work with you. All right, so what I want to do is walk you through where I see a lot of people leaving or not following through with starting with the end in mind. And you probably will see this if you look around the marketing arena. Like I said, I've had the benefit of working with over 100 marketers. I've come into businesses, and these particular tweaks that we're going to talk about in this video are dramatic because it really shifts what is going on and the nature of the relationship, and it allows your prospects to view you in the right light. So this is what most marketers are doing out there today, and what it is they're using traffic, whether that's cold email or LinkedIn or any other real traffic source, to send a pitch, right? And a pitch is just something that is designed to sell your service. And if that is the first interaction that your prospects are having, then what ends up happening is this particular flow. They go from that traffic source to a pitch for your particular service, and then the market breaks up into 2 segments, right? There are people in the market who are ready to buy today, and there are people who are not. And there's some debate about the numbers, but it's generally believed that it's somewhere between 97% are not in the market for services today, 3% are, maybe it's 95.5, but we can all agree that the vast majority of people are not looking to buy the service today. And that's important to understanding the psychology or the nature of the relationship you're trying to nurture. And so there are a variety of reasons that people wouldn't be in the market today. Maybe they have a provider who they're working with today. Maybe it's not the top initiative on their agenda. Maybe they have more pressing issues they need to deal with. It could be a variety of reasons, but they're not looking to buy the service today. So if we take this approach and we look at how most marketers approach the market, you can right away see that it's not really all that strategic if the objective is to get the whole audience to know, like, and trust you and view you as a provider of choice. So let's just use some quick math here. Let's say we sent out 1,000 emails and we pitched 1,000 people your service, and 30 would be interested. That's 3% of 1,000, and 970 would not be interested. So what we've effectively done is we've annoyed 970 people in your ideal prospect mix, and that is a fundamental mistake, because what's happening is you're getting known for something you don't want to be known for, which is annoying people. And of the 30 that are actually looking for the service, some of them are going to be open to talking to you, but they don't view you as a provider of choice. They don't know who you are. So they're really going to view you from the viewpoint of a commodity. And this is exactly what happens to a lot of marketers. And then they get on the phone with these people, and these people are the type of clients that want to produce $300,000 or $400,000 in profit for their business, and they're willing to pay $400 a month. These are the exact type of clients we don't want. And it all comes down to the framework of how we're approaching them. So this is the tactical approach. And really what I want to introduce you to is the strategic approach I work with my clients on, so that they can really make this shift and start from the end in mind and think about how we can develop that relationship. All right, so the way we do this is we go in and we change the nature of that first interaction. So instead of going from that traffic source, be it cold email, LinkedIn, or whatever we're using for cold outreach for traffic, we're going to send them not to a pitch, but to content. And that content is designed in a very specific way to engage them, to excite them, to entertain them, to inform them, but we are not selling them anything. And we're going to pixel them. And so what I want to do is run through the exact same math. So now, because we're sending them to content that is of interest to them, it's designed from the standpoint of how can we create value for our ideal prospects? What can we do for them that would be of interest to them? So now when they click through and they get pixeled, we are building an asset. So the math would look like this. 1,000 cold messages go out. The message is designed to add value so that it's going to resonate. It is not a pitch. 30 to 50% of that market is going to click through. And what that's going to allow us to do is have 500 people, 300 to 500 people of ideal prospects in your particular niche to now be on your pixel. And that allows us to retarget them. And quickly, for those of you that don't know what retargeting is or haven't used it, it's a very simple process. What it is somebody visits your site, the visitor leaves, and now you have the ability to retarget them on other platforms. And this is really important because it allows us to take this first interaction and build a hugely valuable asset. And that asset is a distribution platform designed to put your content in front of your ideal prospects on a regular basis. And once you understand this, it's like having a magazine that all of your prospects are now receiving without annoying them, because nobody gets frustrated by being retargeted to. We're retargeted to everywhere we go. We click on ads when they're of interest to us, when we're in the mood to click on them, and we ignore them when we're not. And that is the exact situation that we're trying to create. It is the distribution arm for your business that is going to play a pivotal role in shifting you from somebody that's struggling with leads to somebody that's going to be able to create a flood of leads for your business. And so let's continue on just so you can see how we use this in the strategic process. So we take this audience that we've created now, this 300 or 500 or 1,000 people that we pixeled, your ideal prospects, and everywhere they go on Google, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, or any of the display networks, they're going to be seeing your ad for your brand or your for you or your brand, and ultimately pushing them to your value content. And again, we have to understand this is not us pushing them to an ad that's, say, buy my product. This is pushing them from the platforms that they're on to a value piece of content. And it's almost like you have to take the idea of being a magazine editor or creator, where you're thinking about what would these people value, what would entertain them, what would be something that would excite them about their business. And there are a variety of ways that we use this in order to do that. But essentially, the key takeaway that I want you to have here is this is value content. This is not a pitch for your service. And remember, this all comes from the framework of starting with the end in mind. We are trying to create a persona for you and your business of someone they know, like, and trust and view as a provider of choice. And in order to do that, we need to mimic the way people become friends, right? This is a human to human interaction. We've gone online, but we need to think about how people get to know, like, and trust their friends. And it happens over time. It's an investment on the part of the friend in terms of showing an interest in your problems, showing an interest in your life, adding value to your life, being seen in proximity for a period of time. And then the natural evolution is that you become friends. And that's what we're trying to create online for your ideal prospects. So again, I want to just give you a full visual so you can see exactly how this pulls together. So we identify your ideal prospects. We send them through the traffic source. Could be cold email, could be LinkedIn outreach, could be Facebook ads. There's a variety of ways that we can do this. Instead of sending them a pitch, we send them to something where we pixel them. We now have the ability to show ads on all kinds of places. So again, the display network for Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, pretty much anywhere they're going to go online, we will be able to keep your brand top of mind. You will become omnipresent. And by doing that, you put yourself in a situation where you can send them to your content. And this is your value content designed to entertain, excite, educate, and inform them. So now every time they interact with you or your brand, they're getting value. And when that starts to happen, the whole industry starts to change the way they view you and your business. And this is a fundamental change. And what ends up happening is it brings us to our stated objective. It gets them to know, like, and trust you and view you as a provider of choice. Okay. So now that we know how to get them to know, like, and trust you and how to view you as a provider of choice, we're able to think about what we've achieved so far in this process. So in the first two videos, we figured out who your ideal prospect is. We figured out how to grab their attention. We now know how to get them to know, like, and trust you and how to view you as a provider of choice. But we're not done. There's still more that needs to happen if we're going to have an effective lead generation strategy that's going to drive your business growth. So in the next video, we're going to talk about your conversion system. And this is super important. So you need to make sure that you watch this video, because if you don't have this, it's really not going to allow you to take prospects and move them through. So your conversion system is set up in such a way that it takes prospects and converts them into leads. It takes leads and turns them into hot leads. It takes hot leads and either pushes them into a tripwire or into a discovery call. But before it puts them on that discovery call, we pre-frame them to view you in a certain light, right? We want them to view you as the provider of choice. We want them to know, like, and trust you. We want them to come onto that call willing and able to pay you what you're worth because they view you as an expert. And then when they get on that call, I want to show you the framework that we use on that discovery call to make sure that it's a non-douchey call, right? It should just be a fit or a no fit call, because you've already done all the heavy lifting. The sales have already happened. They've moved through this automated marketing system, and they're already heated up to that 8, 9, or 10 in terms of likeliness to do business with you. And now it's very important that you have the ability to see if there's a fit or a no fit for this particular engagement. And that's the way I want you to approach these calls. You need to know how to do that so that you're able to bring in all of the clients that you want and only work with people that you can do your best work with and get paid what you're willing or what you're worth. And make sure that people are not taking advantage of you, having those crazy, create $300,000 in profit and I'll pay you $400 a month. We don't want those non-ideal clients. We only want to work with those people that truly value our unique gift in terms of being able to help them build their business. All right, so at this point, I'm going to ask if there's any questions. If there's anything that's not clear to you in the content that we've covered today, please drop the questions below. I'll make sure to jump in and engage with you here. I'll answer all of your questions. And if you got something from this, if you can take just 2 seconds and drop a comment below, I'd love to hear what the big takeaway or aha moment was from you. I'll definitely be looking at the comments, because as I go through it, I'm always trying to improve this content and make sure that I clarify things that aren't clear. So your comments really help with that in terms of evolving this training. And I'll just encourage you to make sure that you look out for that next video, because it's really important that you have that conversion system, right? Without that conversion system, you're not going to have that process in place to go from manual marketing to automated marketing. And that's really what I want for you, because that's really what brings in these leads on autopilot. And ultimately, when you open up your calendar, you've got a bunch of calls booked with ideal prospects who have already been pre-framed, view you as a provider of choice, and are willing and able to spend the money to work with you. And that's really a special place. That's where the business becomes really fun. And I'm hoping to show you how to do that in the next video and pull everything together for this free training so that you can really have that breakthrough. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.